Greetings my lovelies, hi it's Emmy, welcome back to another You Made What? So today I have another prison ramen recipe for you, and it comes from this book called Prison Ramen, and it's written by Clifton Collins and Gustavo Gus Alvarez. If you missed my first recipe from this book, I'll put the link down below. It was for DIY prison candy, which I actually had a little bit of problems with, so I went out and bought some Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid that I used before was unsweetened, so I had to add sugar, but it was granulated sugar and the candy didn't come out quite right. So I got the pre-mixed stuff, hoping that this might do something to it. So yeah, look for part 2 of DIY prison candy soon because I got the real deal. So today's recipe is this one. And it is Ramen Instant Karma, and it has some interesting ingredients, but ones that you can find easily at the commissary or in prison. Be sure to subscribe if you like these kinds of videos. Okay, let's get started. I have discovered this flavor of ramen. I've never heard of this ramen flavor before until I got this book, and it's chili flavored. It's made by Maruchan Company. I also learned in this book there's a very specific technique on crushing the ramen without breaking the bag, because I guess sometimes you cook in this bag. So what you do is you take the bag of ramen and you slam it against the ground. So let's try it. Here we go. So it crushes the ramen without making a mess and it keeps the bag intact. Smart. All right, so what we're going to do in a large bowl, we're going to empty the ramen in there. I'm going to save the seasoning pack, grab my boiling water, add that to my noodles, and we're going to cover that and let that sit. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of resourcefulness that happens when you're in prison, and so oftentimes the water that is used to make ramen is just what comes out of the sink. So you try to get it as hot as possible, cover your instant noodles, and just let it soak up. So I'll be back when the noodles are cooked. While I'm waiting for the water to boil, I'm going to cut up the Slim Jim, and as I remember, this is how you open it. Yes. Nice. And it says to cut it into bite-sized pieces. So here we go. It's been about 8 minutes or so, so let's check on our ramen. And it's nicely kind of puffed up. Yeah, that looks nice and soft. So now I'm going to drain it back into our bowl. Okay, so now we just mix everything together. Super simple. Add our Slim Jim, add our onions. They actually asked to use chives, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using green onion. And 2 tablespoons of mayo, which seems kind of like a lot, but whatever. 1, 2. And of course we can't forget the seasoning packet, and this is chili flavor. So I'm not going to put the entire thing in because I don't like my things too salty. And it actually smells pretty good. I am surprised. All right, so here's the moment of truth. Let's give this a taste. And it doesn't smell too bad. It smells a lot like pasta salad. It has that onion and mayo in there, a bit like potato salad. Let's get a bite with everything on it. Some of the Slim Jim, some of the onion, and of course the noodles. Oh, also, the recipe also said that you can add hot sauce if you like. So I've got some Cholula, but let's taste it without it first. Here we go. Itadakimasu. It's not bad. The mayonnaise actually adds a lot of creaminess to it and some richness. The onions are nice. It makes it taste a little fresher. And the chili flavor is not very strong. It is pretty salty. I'm glad I didn't put the entire pack. I'll add a little bit more just for a little bit more heat because the mayo is already salty and so are the Slim Jims. And let's try it with a little bit more chili flavor on there. All right, here we go. And it's not bad. It really isn't. Now I feel a little bit more of the heat. If you can imagine an instant ramen kind of macaroni salad, that's kind of what this is like. Oh, with the addition of Slim Jims. The Slim Jims add a bit of a pepperoni kind of smoky flavor to it. And yeah, of course, and a little bit of protein as well. And I imagine this is a nice change up to the plain old ramen noodles. So let's give it a little taste with some Cholula on there and see how that changes that up. You can add any hot sauce, of course, that you like, but I'm adding Cholula because it seemed like it would go well with the chili flavor. All right, here we go. So the addition of Cholula gives it a ton more flavor and of course changes it entirely because there's a lot of vinegar in the hot sauce. So it gives it a little bit more acidity and it gives it a nice amount of heat as well. pretty good. All right, so that's instant Karma ramen. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of these types of videos, and if so, what ones you'd like to see. I'll post some recipe titles on my social media so you can check those out and choose which one you'd like to see next. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow, and I shall see you in the next video. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye. Greetings, my lovelies. Hi, it's Emmy. Welcome back to another What You Eatin'. Today, I have this for you. And this is Nissan's Mug Udon.